Good morning, student. This is your lecture number 3 on wave propagation and broadband communication. In the last class, we have discussed about what is the electric field and then what is the magnetic field, about the characteristics of charge. Then I have shown that the electric field from the positive charge is diverging in nature. I have shown here that electric field is from the positive charge is diverging in nature. Here this arrow mark indicates the electric flux. Electric flux are lines of force. Similarly, for a negative charge, the electric field is converging in nature. So what is the unit of this flux? The unit of flux is same as the unit of charge, that is we measure flux in terms of coulomb. But since the electric field is spreading out in all the direction, we always measure flux per density. Flux per density. So electric flux density is denoted by capital D. It is denoted by capital D, which is equal to electric charge per unit area or flux per unit area. You can write this as flux per. Here A stands for area. So obviously, what will be the unit of this electric flux density? Coulomb per meter square. Coulomb per meter square. Where D is denoted by electric flux density. Obviously, this electric flux density depends on the medium. That is, it may be a glass medium or free space medium or water medium. So, what is the relationship between electric flux density and electric field intensity? Electric flux density is always directly proportional to electric field intensity. So, if I remove this proportionality constant, so D is equal to epsilon E. So, this epsilon is known as electric permittivity. Electric permittivity is nothing but it is the ability of the medium to hold electric field. So, and for this epsilon, the value of epsilon in air is 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12, and the unit of this permittivity is Faraday per meter. 8.85 10 to the minus 12 Faraday per meter. We have already studied about this in physics. I am just revising it. So the next is here you can see that the isolated charge exists in electric field. That is, the electric charge is the source of electric field. Then we will see so 3 conclusion. You need to remember this. This is very, very important. Your static charge, that means charge at rest, produce electric field. Static charge produces electric field. When the charge is in uniform motion, charge, that is acceleration is equal to 0. Acceleration is equal to 0. Obviously, the constant velocity, if the charge is moving, that results into your DC current, and this DC current is the source of, magnetic field. Here the magnetic field is denoted by H and the electric field is denoted by E. The unit of electric field is volt per meter and the unit of magnetic field is ampere per meter. Then if the charge is accelerated or decelerated, that means time varying charge, if the motion of the charge is time varying, then time varying charge produces time varying charge, that is charge is accelerated or which is the source of time varying electric field as well as time varying magnetic field. So here this is the conclusion, you need to remember this. The static charge is the source of electric field. If the charge is uniformly in the motion, that is your acceleration of the charge is 0, charge moving with a constant velocity, which means your DC current is the source of your magnetic field. And if the charge is accelerated or decelerated, it will be the source of both time varying, it will produce both time varying electric field and magnetic field. So you need to remember this conclusion. Then in order to understand, who told you about this conclusion, that is a scientist called named as Maxwell. So Maxwell gives 4 equations in order to understand the electromagnetic waves. So we will discuss about this one by one. See, I have discussed this basics of physics, that is your charge, electric field, magnetic field, and this conclusion in order to make you understand the Maxwell equation, because the Maxwell equation we are going to use this extensively. So Maxwell gives the 4 equations for electromagnetic waves, and the first one is Maxwell equation. See, Maxwell gives the 4 mathematical equations, but the law comes from Gauss, Faraday and Ampere's. So first equation is given by Gauss law. Gauss law of electricity. It states that the amount of electric flux coming out of a, it says that the amount of electric flux coming out of a closed surface is equal to the total charge enclosed inside the surface. Is equal to the total charge enclosed by the surface. So it says that the amount of electric flux coming out of a closed surface is equal to the total charge enclosed by the surface. What does it means? It means if I consider a sphere, for example, if it consists a charge at its center, that is a Q, then the amount of electric flux coming out of this closed surface, which is nothing but integration of electric flux density over the surface, is equal to so this is the relation Gauss gives. So if I put D is equal to how does the electric flux density related with the electric field intensity, that D is equal to epsilon E. So this is the integration of closed surface. So Gauss the Gauss law is valid only for a closed surface. So the area under the electric flux density is always going to give you the amount of charge. So this electric charge is the source of electric field intensity. The electric charge is the source of electric field intensity, which you will find here from this. If I put D is equal to epsilon E and take the epsilon common, then epsilon E ds is equal to Q, and finally the circle indicates the integration over the closed surface. So E ds is equal to Q by epsilon. So this is your Gauss law for electricity. So what is the significance of this law? From this equation you can see here that this charge is the source of, is the cause of electric field intensity. It means if electric field is there, that means obviously there will be a charge, that is a static charge or dynamic charge, whatever may be. Charge is the cause of electric field. You should remember this point. Charge is the cause of electric field. Next is your Gauss law for magnetism. So before that we will so you have already studied about electric dipole. So electric dipole is denoted by P. If two charges separated by distance d, then the electric dipole P is equal to Q into D. Two equal and opposite charges separated by distance d, then electric dipole moment is equal to Q into distance between them, charge into distance between them. So now I am going to apply, suppose the question is, if a sphere contains an electric dipole, for example Q minus Q, separated by distance d, then what is the net flux coming out of this surface? What is the net flux? What is the net flux coming out of the sphere? Coming what is the net flux coming out of the sphere? So from the Gauss law you have studied the electric flux density, the area under the electric flux density is equal to net charge enclosed by epsilon. So that is from the Gauss law, area under the electric flux density is equal to q net, that is charge enclosed. So from here it consists of an electric dipole, that means equal and opposite charges, that is q minus q. So the net charge enclosed by this sphere is q and minus q. Obviously this got cancelled out. So electric flux, obviously this electric flux density in this case is equal to 0. So flux is denoted by psi. So psi is equal to 0. Psi is nothing but your electric flux. Or you can denote it also by phi. So phi E means electric flux. So this is the way we can calculate the amount of electric flux coming out of the sphere is 0. Why 0? Because it consists of dipole, and dipole means equal and opposite charges separated by distance d. Hence the net charge enclosed by the sphere is 0. Hence the net flux coming out of the sphere is 0. The net flux coming out of the sphere is 0. That means if at this point, for this source at this point, electric field is always equal to 0. Remember this dipole concept, we are going to use it to understand the antenna subject. The first antenna is your half wave dipole. So there we will study about this dipole application in antenna. So for example, if the sphere contains two charges, that is q1 and q2, suppose q1 and q2 and q3, three charges q1, q2 and q3, all the three charges are positive. Hence how to calculate the electric flux density? So electric flux density is nothing but the net charge enclosed, which is q1 plus q2 plus q3. So electric flux is equal to psi is equal to q1 plus q2 plus q3. So this is the way we apply your Gauss law in order to find the electric flux density at a point. So next is your Gauss law for magnetism and Maxwell's second equation. You should remember the conclusion here, that is the cause for the electric field is the effect, and the cause for this electric field is your charge. Electric charge is the cause for electric field, that is the source for electric field. If there is no charge, there is no electric field. So then the next equation of Maxwell is, so this is very, very important. In your syllabus this Maxwell equation is mentioned, only they have mentioned Maxwell equation, that means you have to study all the four equations. The next is, second equation is Gauss law for magnetism, Gauss law of magnetism. So what this states? This states the magnetic flux density, the area under the magnetic flux density. Here this integration means area, or this is a closed surface. This is a closed surface, hence always we do the integration over the closed surface. Hence I denote here this circle. This circle indicates the closed surface integration. The area under the closed surface of magnetic flux density is always equal to 0. That means, what is the conclusion of this Gauss law of magnetism? That means isolated magnetic poles doesn't exist, and the magnetic lines of force always form a circle. How? If I consider a magnetic bar, you have already known that it consists of north pole and south pole. So what does this means? Isolated magnetic pole doesn't exist. That means you cannot separate out this north pole and south pole. They always exist togetherly. They always exist togetherly. Just like in electric field, the electric flux is always coming out of the positive charge and always entering into the negative charge. Similarly, here in this magnetic bar, the flux is always coming out of this north pole and it always enter into the south pole. You can see here. So the amount of flux entering from the north pole is going to enter into the south pole. Hence, magnetic flux or magnetic lines of force always form a circular path. Hence, if I do the integration over this closed surface, the net flux density is always equal to 0. For example, at this point, if I want to calculate the magnetic flux density, is always going to equal to 0 because the flux is entering from the north pole and it is ending at the south pole. So from this Gauss law of magnetism, we can conclude that the magnetic line, two conclusion is here, that isolated, as like your electric charge, isolated magnetic poles doesn't exist. Isolated means single north pole, single south pole doesn't exist. They always exist in togetherly. And then the next second conclusion is the magnetic lines of force always form a circular path. The magnetic lines of force always form a circular path. Here B is magnetic flux density. So this is your second Maxwell equation. Maxwell gives only this mathematical form, but this thing is invented or discovered by Gauss. The law is given by Gauss, but mathematically Maxwell derived this expression. So B is magnetic flux density. So this is the equation number 2 for your Maxwell equation. So in the next class we will study equation number 3 and 4, which is very, very important. After that we will able to understand what is a wave and how this wave propagates. Thank you.